Alessia Cara. Yes. Hi there, I'm Valentine. This is the iHeartRadio album release party for Alessia Cara for In the Meantime, hashtag iHeartAlessia Cara. You know, when we opened the show, we talked about how much love there is for In the Meantime. How does that feel for you, hearing people respond to it so well?
It feels wonderful. I really did not expect it, to be quite honest. I really try to go into this with no expectations, especially after the craziness of the last 2 years. I was just excited to put something out, and I didn't really know what was going to happen, but the reaction has been very, very kind and wonderful and great. So I'm very, very happy.
You know, it's so interesting when we look back, you started writing at such a young age, and you look back at previous albums now. How do you think you've developed as an artist, as a lyricist, to writing these songs?
I feel like in many different ways. I think I'm way more experimental than I used to be, a lot more free in my writing than I used to be. And I think that just, is something that comes with age, but also practice and doing
Yeah.
it for a long time. The more you do it, I guess the more it comes, or the more naturally it comes, I should say. So definitely just feel more free about it. I don't really harp on things too much, or it's not as grueling of a process. It's
Right.
actually just, a lot more fun and easier, I guess.
You know what's interesting? During the lockdown, I think, and you probably know a lot of your friends too that were doing this, a lot of people were writing songs. A lot of artists were working on music. Do you think In the Meantime happens if it wasn't for the lockdown? Because I mean, it's a very cathartic album, I think, as well.
Definitely. Yeah. I think I'm sure an album would have happened, but definitely not this one. I think the way that it happened, was so necessary, just because I've been doing this for the last 7 years, which entails a lot of traveling and like distraction. And, you don't even have time to process your feelings when you're so go, go, go. So I think, if I hadn't had the time to like actually be with myself and be stuck with myself and like have these really dark, weird moments, I don't think I would have, been able to have been as honest as I was on this project, or like discover the things that I did.
And it has been, I guess, a lot of, because you've talked about this in past interviews, a lot of personal growth for yourself and for your health and your mental well-being as well.
Yeah, definitely. It came in waves. I think there was like a lot of growth and then like, the opposite of that and then growth again. I think
Yeah.
that's like the way that healing kind of works is like sometimes you have it down and then other times you lose it all and then you regain it again. So it was a lot of that. I think overall I'm definitely like in a way better place. And I think even
Yeah.
now, like if I take steps back, they're not as heavy, they're, I don't know, like you always kind of in life like build like a little toolbox of ways to cope, in new ways. Even if it feels like you're moving backwards, you always have something new, in your
Yeah.
back pocket. So this album is basically about that, the steps that I've taken and things like that.
What's interesting, I think art for everybody is very cathartic in certain respects. I go back years ago, I'm not going to tell you the title of the song or anything else, but I wrote a song. No one ever heard it, by the way. I
Oh my
wrote it,
God,
produced
I
it,
have
everything
to
else, but
hear
no, but it
it.
was horrible, right? But I wrote it after a breakup, and I felt so much better getting that stuff out. Like when you get it out and you put music and words together, do you feel better?
Definitely, yeah. Well, first of all, I need to hear that song you made. But second of all, um, definitely, yeah, 100%. I think everybody should write, whether they think they're good at it or not, or it doesn't have to be obviously in music form. But I think
Yeah.
getting out your feelings, even if it's just writing in a journal or like talking about it, just putting it into words and getting it out is such a great way to like feel like it's out of your system in
Mhm.
a sense. Like it's almost like a weird placebo effect where if you get it out there, just you feel lighter. It feels like it's off
Yeah.
of your chest in a sense. There's a reason why that saying, like, get it off my chest is a real thing because you do feel lighter mentally, emotionally, even physically sometimes. So I think it definitely is helpful. And I kind of use writing as not only a hobby, but as a necessity for my coping. That's
Mhm.
how I get through things.
Let's talk about one of the songs that people are saying are one of the best songs you ever wrote. Do you know what that is? I Miss You, Don't Call Me. They love that song. Yes. How do you feel about it?
Thank you. That's really sweet. It's always interesting to see which ones, people are going to gravitate towards because I have no idea. But that's really sweet that people are saying that. I hope they like it. It is one of my favorites too. I feel like it's a really, I don't know, emotional one, but it's taken on also like many forms too. Like when it first started, it was like a really pop based song. And then we just kept like removing elements until it was like
Mhm.
almost naked. And now there's only like a couple tracks on it. It's very, very bare, but I feel like that was a good move. It was the right move. And clearly, I mean, if people are saying that, then maybe it was the right move.
Yeah. There's a song on the album that, here you are a 20-something-year-old young lady from Canada. I'm a 50-something-year-old guy from Connecticut. And the song on the album that jumps to me is Best Days. Best Days just resonates, I think, across generations. And there's a line, I want to get it right here. There's a line on the album, what if my best days are the days I left behind? And this really wasn't supposed to be a song at first. It was just a line you were going to use in another song. Talk about that story.
Yeah, so I was in the middle of writing this other song, which is now the second song on the album, Box in the Ocean. And I mean, Box in the Ocean wasn't even called Box in the Ocean yet. Like that song itself was totally different, but I had this line in the bridge that was, what if my best days are the days I've left behind? And I wrote that because of this New Year's party that I was having, pre-pandemic, of course, where I had, all my friends and family there. I just got a new apartment. Like life was, in theory, so good. And I just remember feeling like, what am I even celebrating? Like, why are we even celebrating New Year's if all of the good days that I've ever had are over? And I was looking in the future and trying to, have fun celebrating this new year and this new life. And all I could see ahead of me was just more of the same, just more sadness, more pain. And that's a really hopeless place to be in when you feel like there's nothing good to come of your life, and that's just what comes with having, and dealing with a lot of mental health struggles and emotional struggles. So I was just going to, bury that line and that thought in another song. And my good friend, John Levine, was the one who was like, no, like, don't shy away from that. Like, you're not throwing that line away in another song. Like, this is a full song. Like, that's a chorus. And so we sat at the piano together and he played the most beautiful piano piece. And I just sat beside him and wrote the song, which I'm so glad I did, because I really feel like it's one of my favorites. And it was really an important song for me to write, I think.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Did you like that video? You can check out more over here. And don't forget to subscribe to iHeart right here. And if you're already a longtime fan, make sure you ring the bell down below so you don't miss a single video. Bye guys.